Ladies and gentlemen, self-reliance is a cornerstone of strength, particularly for women who refuse to be boxed into societal expectations. The idea that women need to depend on others for validation or security is not only outdated, but also dismissive of the capabilities inherent in every individual. A strong woman is not someone who has shut out others, but someone who has recognized her own worth and the importance of nurturing it without relying on external approval. This self-reliance doesn't mean isolation or shutting others out. It means that a strong woman doesn't seek her identity or sense of purpose from those around her. She understands that her value is intrinsic, not contingent on the opinions or perspectives of others. The external world can often be filled with noise expectations about who she should be, what she should do, and how she should feel. The woman who embraces her own strength learns to quiet that noise and listens to the voice within herself, trusting that it has more wisdom than any external judgment. This sense of self-reliance grows from the recognition that no one can know or understand your inner world better than you do. A woman who is confident in her abilities and in her own character will make decisions that are true to herself, rather than those that conform to what others might expect from her. It is this ability to make choices based on inner conviction, rather than external pressure, that sets strong women apart. They do not need others to tell them they are worthy, because they already know they are. However, this doesn't mean that strong women reject others outright. Quite the opposite. By being self-reliant, they become more selective with whom they allow into their lives. They don't seek out friends, partners, or colleagues simply for the sake of having someone to validate them. Instead, they value relationships based on mutual respect, shared values, and honesty. These women understand that they can only build meaningful connections with those who also recognize the importance of individuality and self-sufficiency. A woman who is self-reliant may not have many friends, but the ones she does have are those who respect her for who she is, not who they want her to be. In addition, being self-reliant is not about rejecting help or support when it is needed. It's about knowing that you don't depend on others for your happiness or sense of self-worth. Strong women know that they can lean on others in times of need, but they don't expect that support to carry them through life. They understand that no one can fill the gap within themselves. They must be whole on their own before they can build partnerships with others. In fact, it is their very self-reliance that often makes them better partners, friends, and leaders. They know how to offer support to others because they don't rely on anyone to fix or complete them. Ultimately, self-reliance is not about rejecting the world, but about stepping into it with a firm understanding of who you are. A strong woman who relies on herself is confident, grounded, and self-assured. She doesn't need a crowd of people to validate her choices, nor does she require the constant affirmation of others to feel secure. She can walk alone, stand tall, and move forward with purpose, knowing that her strength comes not from the world around her, but from the clarity and power that she has cultivated within herself. It's this inner strength that allows her to face challenges head-on, knowing that she will never be truly alone because she carries her own strength with her wherever she goes. The societal expectations placed on women have been ingrained for centuries, shaping how they are perceived and how they perceive themselves. These expectations are often narrow, restrictive, and rooted in outdated notions of what it means to be a woman. A strong woman, particularly one who deviates from the prescribed norms, faces an unspoken challenge: how to stay true to herself while navigating the pressure to conform. The societal narrative often suggests that a woman should be nurturing, supportive, and agreeable, placing a heavy emphasis on maintaining harmony and fulfilling roles that serve others. But when a woman steps out of this role, when she is ambitious, assertive, independent, or unapologetically herself, she challenges that narrative, which can be met with judgment, criticism, and even hostility. This clash between the woman's authentic self and the expectations thrust upon her can lead to isolation. Society often struggles to understand women who do not fit the mold, and as a result, they may find themselves distanced from those around them. It's not that these women want to isolate themselves, but rather that their strength, confidence, and individuality make them difficult to categorize within the traditional frameworks of what a woman is supposed to be. The reaction to this divergence can be one of discomfort from others' discomfort, because it forces people to confront their own limitations and assumptions about gender and societal roles. Strong women who do not adhere to traditional expectations often face a tough choice. They can either conform to make others comfortable, or they can reject conformity and embrace their true selves, which may alienate them from many people. Many women find it difficult to balance the tension between fitting in and standing out. To fit in means to suppress parts of themselves that do not align with societal norms, often leading to dissatisfaction and a loss of personal identity. But standing out comes with the risk of being misunderstood, misjudged, or even ostracized. In this environment, friendships can become complicated. A woman who refuses to play the role others want her to play may struggle to find companionship with people who are content to live within the prescribed limits. Relationships with those who are less self-assured or who find comfort in convention may begin to feel strained. The strong woman, because she is unapologetically herself, can be seen as a threat to those who haven't yet found the courage to express themselves fully. It's a delicate balance where the strength that empowers her to lead, create, and innovate can also be the very thing that sets her apart. However, there's a deeper complexity at play here. The woman who defies conventional expectations is often not doing so out of rebellion or a desire to be different for the sake of difference. Instead, she is following an inner calling, one that pushes her to be true to herself, no matter how uncomfortable it may make others. The challenge is not in the desire to be exceptional, but in the way society views her exceptionalism. When women step outside the boundaries set for them, they are frequently labeled as difficult, too much, or intimidating terms that carry negative connotations, despite their positive attributes. In a world that constantly judges women for not fitting a predefined mold, strong women must be resilient, learning to navigate these challenges without losing their sense of self. The loneliness they may feel isn't necessarily the result of rejection, but of standing firm in the face of societal resistance. The relationships they seek and cultivate are those built on mutual respect for each other's strength and individuality. While these relationships may be fewer, they are also far more authentic, built on the kind of understanding that transcends superficial expectations and acknowledges the complexity of a person's true nature. Thus, the challenge of societal expectations is not simply a barrier to friendship, but a powerful test of identity. It requires strength, not just to reject the confines of what is expected, but to do so without resentment or bitterness. For a strong woman, it's about learning to live authentically in a world that often demands conformity, knowing that while it may lead to fewer connections, those connections will be based on a deeper, more meaningful foundation. For a strong woman, the burden of responsibility is both a source of pride and a significant challenge. Responsibility in this context is not simply about managing tasks or obligations, but about carrying the weight of her own dreams, aspirations, and the well-being of those around her. Strong women tend to take on substantial roles in various spheres of life, be it in their careers, families, communities, or personal growth. While this sense of duty can propel them to great achievements, it also leaves them with little time or emotional energy to invest in superficial or fleeting relationships. The nature of responsibility for a strong woman is multifaceted. On the one hand, she may feel a deep sense of obligation to her family or loved ones, wanting to ensure those who rely on her are supported, cared for, and uplifted. This can involve everything from being a provider or protector to offering emotional guidance and stability. At the same time, she often has significant professional ambitions, goals that require immense focus, determination, and self-discipline to achieve. A woman with a high level of responsibility may also be working to create a positive impact in her community or pursuing personal projects that demand dedication and sacrifice. In carrying such a heavy load, the strong woman often finds herself needing to prioritize her time and energy. The demands of her career, family, and other responsibilities leave little room for casual socializing or maintaining a large circle of friends. She must decide where to allocate her limited resources, and oftentimes those choices mean that relationships with others take a backseat to more pressing obligations. This can lead to a sense of isolation, not because the woman doesn't want companionship, but because she simply does not have the bandwidth to nurture a broad network of friends. Moreover, the responsibility she bears often comes with a deep sense of personal accountability. A strong woman is not one to shy away from challenges. She takes them on with grit and determination. However, this self-reliance and drive can sometimes be misunderstood as emotional distance or coldness. People may perceive her as too busy or too focused on her goals, not realizing the inner strength it takes to juggle multiple obligations simultaneously. This perception can prevent her from forming close bonds with others, as those around her may feel they are competing for her attention, or that they are somehow inadequate compared to the monumental tasks she manages. In the midst of this burden, the strong woman often develops an intense sense of personal discipline. She understands that achieving her dreams and meeting her responsibilities requires sacrifice. She may not have the time to engage in the social rituals that others take for granted, but she is deeply committed to making sure the tasks she has chosen are completed with excellence. She is not seeking shortcuts, nor does she expect anyone else to carry her burdens. But this level of responsibility, while a mark of strength, also contributes to her tendency to keep her circle small and her relationships few. However, the very nature of the strong woman's responsibilities often means she is constantly in motion, never truly off the clock. This can make it difficult for others to understand her sense of urgency or commitment. She may feel that in order to achieve her goals, she must keep pushing forward, constantly moving, while others may be content to take breaks, relax, or engage in more leisurely social activities. As a result, her friendships are often reserved for those who not only understand the weight of responsibility, but are also willing to respect her need for space and time to fulfill her obligations. In the end, the burden of responsibility that a strong woman carries is not a burden in the traditional sense. It is a reflection of her determination, ambition, and desire to make a meaningful impact in the world. But it does mean that she has little room for distractions or superficial connections. Her relationships are valuable, but they must align with her values, her sense of purpose, and her drive to live a life of integrity and impact. These relationships may be fewer, but they are often richer, grounded in mutual respect for the responsibility she bears and the strength it takes to shoulder them. For many strong women, the experience of competition and jealousy can be a silent yet powerful force in their relationships. When a woman is assertive, confident, and successful, whether in her career, personal life, or passions, there are those who perceive her strength not as something to admire, but as something to be challenged or envied. This dynamic is often the root cause of strained friendships or the absence of them altogether. The strong woman, by simply being herself, often finds that others are either intimidated by her success or feel the sting of jealousy, which can cause a rift in what might otherwise be a potential friendship. It is important to recognize that women who are strong and independent are not actively seeking to overshadow others. Their strength is not a weapon, nor is it a competition. Rather, it is a byproduct to growth, their belief in themselves, and their refusal to settle for mediocrity. Unfortunately, not everyone can view a strong woman's accomplishments through this lens. For some, seeing a woman achieve her goals or surpass expectations may trigger feelings of inadequacy, insecurity, or fear of being left behind. These feelings can breed competition and jealousy, and as a result, relationships that could have been supportive and positive can become strained. Jealousy, in particular, can be a subtle and insidious force. It doesn't always present itself as open hostility. Rather, it can manifest in more passive forms such as backhanded compliments, undermining remarks, or the tendency to downplay the strong woman's successes. While this may seem harmless on the surface, it can deeply affect the dynamics of a relationship, especially when the person on the receiving end is someone who values authenticity and mutual respect. The strong woman may find herself questioning whether her accomplishments are truly being celebrated or if they are being overshadowed by hidden resentment. In these situations, the strong woman can be left feeling isolated, unsure of where she stands with others. She may sense that people are no longer engaging with her in a genuine way, but instead are measuring her worth against their own self-perception or insecurities. This is particularly true when others feel that they cannot measure up or fear that they will be overlooked. The strong woman, often driven by her ambition and relentless pursuit of her goals, may not always notice the subtle shifts in her relationships, but she can sense the distance when it grows. Over time, this alienation can become exhausting, leaving her feeling disconnected from the very people she seeks to connect with. The fear of competition, however, is not always one-sided. In fact, many strong women also experience internal pressure to perform at a high level, often to avoid feeling judged or criticized by others. They're not just competing against external forces or societal standards, they are often competing against their own high expectations. This can make them feel even more distanced from those around them, as they may view themselves as constantly striving to be better in every aspect of life. This desire to continually push oneself can contribute to a feeling of separation from others, as relationships that are rooted in comparison or competition are inherently unstable. At the heart of this dynamic is the notion that strength can often be misunderstood. The strong woman's success, independence, and confidence can be perceived as a threat, not just to those around her, but to the very ideals of social harmony and equity. In a world that still expects women to be humble, self-sacrificing, and accommodating, a woman who excels and stands out can challenge deeply ingrained cultural norms. Rather than being celebrated, she may be resented or sidelined by those who are unwilling or unable to embrace her achievements as something positive. This fear of competition and jealousy does not necessarily define all relationships for strong women, but it does shape the way they navigate their social world. These women often find themselves more comfortable in small, tight-knit circles where competition is not the driving force, and where mutual respect and admiration are the foundation. They prefer relationships where success is celebrated, where there is a sense of shared achievement rather than rivalry. In this way, while the strong woman may have fewer friends, the ones she does have are those who truly understand her, people who value her strength, support her ambition, and are not threatened by her success. Ultimately, the fear of competition and jealousy is a complex issue that can significantly impact the relationships of strong women. It highlights the tension between self-assurance and societal expectations, between personal ambition and communal harmony. However, for those who understand and respect the strong woman's journey, There is no room for rivalry or envy, only a deep, supportive connection built on shared values and an appreciation for each other's strengths. Authentic connections are essential for everyone. But for strong women, these bonds are not merely a luxury, they are a lifeline. In a world where superficial relationships are often prioritized over deeper, more meaningful connections, strong women gravitate toward quality rather than quantity in their friendships. They do not seek validation, popularity, or a large social circle to feel secure or accomplished. Instead, they place immense value on authentic connections, relationships that are grounded in honesty, trust, and mutual respect. For a strong woman, the idea of superficial friendships is deeply unsatisfying. Relationships based on convenience or social status do not hold the same weight as those formed through shared experiences, vulnerability, and emotional investment. She understands that true friendships are built on understanding and mutual support. These friendships are not about keeping up appearances or maintaining a facade of perfection. Instead, they are about embracing the messy, imperfect aspects of each other's lives and offering unwavering support when needed. A relationship where both parties can be their genuine selves without the need for masks or pretenses is priceless. However, strong women know that creating such authentic bonds is not always easy. It requires a great deal of emotional energy and a willingness to be vulnerable. Vulnerability means being open about one's flaws, struggles, and fears. It's about sharing the parts of oneself that might not be socially acceptable or comfortable to show. But a woman who is strong doesn't shy away from this vulnerability. She understands that true connection can only be forged when both people are willing to lower their defenses and engage at a deeper emotional level. In these authentic friendships, there is room for both joy and pain, growth and setbacks. There is an understanding that life is not always smooth, but it's much more meaningful when it's shared with people who genuinely care. This is why strong women often find themselves with fewer friends, because the space for genuine relationships is limited. Strong women are selective about the people they let into their lives. They don't want to waste their emotional energy on connections that do not offer depth or authenticity. Relationships that lack sincerity or are built on shallow foundations quickly lose their appeal. The strong woman values her time and emotional investment, choosing to focus on those who bring real value to her life and reciprocate her efforts. She does not need to be surrounded by a large group of people, but she values a small circle of friends who are reliable, supportive, and capable of engaging on a level that transcends surface-level conversation. This selectiveness does not mean that the strong woman is unapproachable or unwilling to form new friendships. Rather, it is a reflection of the deeper emotional intelligence and self-awareness that she has cultivated over time. She understands her own boundaries and knows that meaningful connections take time, effort, and shared experiences to develop. She also knows that not everyone is capable of understanding her on this level, and that's okay. For her, the quality of relationships outweighs the quantity, and she would rather have a handful of true, authentic friendships than an overwhelming number of acquaintances. Additionally, authentic connections allow the strong woman to be fully herself without fear of judgment or rejection. In many aspects of her life, she is used to facing challenges head-on and navigating difficult situations with grace. However, even the strongest individuals need a space where they can let down their guard and be vulnerable, where they can share their true selves without fear of being criticized or misunderstood. Authentic friendships provide this space, a safe haven where the woman can be accepted for who she truly is, not for the image she projects to the outside world. Furthermore, authentic relationships are built on mutual growth. In these friendships, both individuals encourage each other to be their best selves. They challenge one another, not with competition, but with inspiration. These are the relationships where advice is given not from a place of judgment, but from a desire to see the other person flourish. They are relationships of reciprocity, where both parties contribute to each other's well-being, whether through emotional support, honest feedback, or simply being present in times of need. The strong woman knows that cultivating authentic relationships requires effort and vulnerability, but the rewards are immeasurable. In these relationships, there is no pretense, no hidden agendas, and no need for constant approval. There is only mutual respect, deep understanding, and genuine care. Though the strong woman may have fewer friends than others, the friends she does have are those who truly matter, those who are not just passively in her life, but actively contributing to her growth and happiness. These authentic connections become the foundation of her emotional resilience, providing the support she needs to face life's challenges while allowing her to be herself unapologetically and completely. Independence is often considered one of the most defining traits of a strong woman. This characteristic is not simply about being able to do things alone or manage life's challenges without external support. It is much deeper than that. Independence reflects the internal strength to rely on one's own capabilities, to trust oneself, and to maintain one's sense of identity in a world that constantly tries to define who you should be. For many strong women, Their independence is not just a preference, it's a way of life, a reflection of their confidence, resilience, and unwavering commitment to their own growth and values. Being independent often means that a strong woman is less reliant on others for validation or emotional support. She has cultivated an internal sense of worth and confidence that allows her to stand firm regardless of external circumstances or opinions. While others may seek approval or confirmation from their social circles, the strong woman finds her validation from within. She is not defined by the roles others expect her to play, whether as a wife, mother, daughter, or friend, but by her own goals, ambitions, and self-defined purpose. Her sense of independence comes from the understanding that she alone is responsible for her own happiness and success, and she chooses to take control of her own life. However, this independence can sometimes be misinterpreted. In a society where dependence is often associated with emotional connections, a woman's ability to stand on her own can be viewed as a barrier to interconnection. People may mistake her strength for aloofness or emotional distance. They may believe that because she is capable of managing her life on her own, she doesn't need or want others around her. In reality, her independence does not mean that she is unwilling to have close, supportive relationships. Instead, it reflects her ability to balance her need for solitude with her capacity for authentic connection. She does not need to rely on others to feel complete, but she values relationships that are built on mutual respect and shared strength. The strength of independence also manifests in how strong women navigate the world and the challenges they face. They do not wait for external circumstances to change or for others to help them achieve their goals. A strong woman will take proactive steps toward creating the life she wants, even when faced with adversity. This is especially true in professional and personal pursuits, where independence enables them to chart their own course, make tough decisions, and assert their boundaries without fearing the opinions or judgments of others. This can make them seem solitary, even though they are deeply committed to their growth and the well-being of those they care about. The paradox of independence is that while strong women often navigate life alone and with great self-sufficiency, they also understand the value of true partnership and interdependence. Their strength lies not in isolation, but in their ability to manage their independence, while also embracing the idea of shared connections when they are truly meaningful. They do not view relationships as a means of validation or dependency, but rather as opportunities to connect with others who respect their autonomy and support their ambitions. One of the challenges that comes with this strength of independence is the difficulty in finding friends who truly understand and respect the balance. Many people, whether friends, family, or colleagues, may struggle to comprehend how someone can be so self-reliant while still being emotionally available and open to deep relationships. The strong woman's ability to live independently can create an invisible divide between her and those who rely more heavily on the support and validation of others. This divide can sometimes lead to misunderstandings, with others viewing her as distant or self-contained. But for the strong woman, her independence is not a rejection of others, it's simply a means of maintaining control over her life, choices, and emotional well-being. Furthermore, the strength of independence enables strong women to be fiercely protective of their time and energy. They know the value of their personal space and are careful about how they invest it. While they are capable of offering support and being there for others, they are also highly discerning about whom they allow into their lives. This discernment stems from a deep sense of self-respect. A strong woman knows that her time and emotional resources are precious, and she will not waste them on relationships or situations that do not align with her values or contribute positively to her life. Ultimately, the strength of independence is not about isolation, it's about empowerment. It is the ability to stand tall in a world that often pressures individuals to conform or depend on others. What allows the strong woman to define her own path, to set her own goals, and to be her own source of motivation. This independence is a powerful tool that enables her to face challenges head-on, knowing that no matter the circumstances, she is capable of navigating the journey ahead. It is a strength that allows her to thrive on her own terms while still embracing meaningful, authentic connections when the time and relationship are right.